Bam Margera is seemingly not returning for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. The troubled skater made his debut in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. So this is some news I seen, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I got a little bit bummed out hearing this type of news. Now, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be getting Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake that they're gonna be doing. Um, I did get the 1 and 2 a few years back. I think it was released in like 2001 or 2000, somewhere around there. And I loved it because I was a big fan of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, especially 1 and 2 growing up. I remember I would play them on the Nintendo 64, mainly number 2. So that was the main one that I would play. I had like some friends and like some cousins and stuff that we would play this game together. And it was one of those things I really loved that aspect of it, just being able to skate in the different areas and stuff like that. But one of the fun parts as well that I used to have a lot of fun with was making like the skate parks and being able to kind of do your own thing and build your own, like park or whatever, so that you can actually build it, and then after you were done building it, you can actually skate it with your characters. I used to have a lot of fun doing that with like my friends and family and stuff like that. So those games have always had a special place in my heart. 3 and 4, I didn't play as much. I believe I played 3, but 4 I never really got into. I think I played it maybe once back in the day, but that was about it. But yeah, just seeing this news I thought was actually pretty sad, just because I grew up watching, shows like Jackass, and kind of seeing Bam Margera kind of in the that wheelhouse with like the Jackass crew and kind of being around the skating world. So seeing that he wasn't going to be able to be available for this game is a little bit unfortunate on my end. I think that that does kind of suck a bit, but at the end of the day, I know that there has been some reasoning behind it, and we can probably get into it right here in this article. But yeah, I thought it was really unfortunate. So we'll go ahead and check out what the article states, and then I'll give my thoughts as we go along. So, Jackass star and skateboarder Bam Margera will seemingly not be a part of the roster for the upcoming Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remakes. Margera, who made a name for himself as a member of the Jackass and CKY crews, as well as a skater for the brand Element, could be the only member of the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 rosters not returning for the new game, discounting third party guest characters. And yeah, I just hearing this news I think is really unfortunate, just because at the end of the day, I know that Bam Margera kind of I know it was one of those things, at least from my perspective, what I had seen. I didn't really follow him too much because I remember a little bit later on in like the Jackass career, like their Jackass careers and everything like that with that crew. I kind of stopped watching. I think it was after like the third film. So I didn't really follow a lot of those guys and kind of see what happened to them. But one thing I did remember was that when Ryan Dunn had passed away, Bam Margera's like best friend, was like his brother. I remember him taking it really hard. He took it really hard. It was a sad day for him, and it was one of those things where like he just kind of fell off the rails after that point, and it was one of those things where he kind of went downhill from there. So hearing this type of news, I think it just sucks because it kind of adds a little bit more fuel to that fire in that regards. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know if there was some other stuff that kind of happened as well that caused him to kind of go off the deep end, or you know what I mean, kind of have it so that he's not really liked apparently from the individuals that are that kind of knew him around that time and around that era. So I don't know if there was more stuff, but from my understanding, it was kind of the death of Ryan Dunn that kind of made him fall off a bit, which is really sad and really unfortunate because I remember it was a sad day when he did pass away. So a roster for the newly announced remakes have been revealed, and Margera, who debuted in the series in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, is missing. Activision has revealed the majority of the roster for the game, which can be viewed below. While Activision has teased that more secret characters will be included, this doesn't typically include classic skaters, potentially pointing to Margera being entirely absent for the game, which it's unfortunate, which really sucks too. So interestingly, one Margera will make it into the game, Bam's brother Jess. Jess Margera is the drummer of CKY, whose song 96 Quite Bitter Beings has been confirmed to be included in the game. And that just kind of, I feel like adds a little bit more to it, where it's like it's a little bit messed up that they're kind of doing that. Hopefully that isn't one of those things where they're kind of doing it out of spite. It is one of those things that they just kind of have love for his brother, so they're like, yeah, we're gonna do this for you, man, because we got your back in that regard. But yeah, that is just unfortunate that he's not going to actually be included in the games, just because if he made his debut in that game, that is a little bit unfortunate. So Margera has faced a string of health and legal issues in recent years. Due to issues related to substance abuse, He was fired from Jackass Forever, after which he was issued with a restraining order from Jackass director Jeff Tremaine. Tremaine had previously fought for years to include Margera in the reunion film. VGC has reached out to Margera and Activision for comment. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 will be released on July 11, 2025, although more expensive editions of the game will offer 3 days of early access starting on July 8th. So yeah, and then just the different platforms. So we got Xbox, PS5, 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So, and then Windows and Steam. So yeah, but yeah, man, that's just, I feel like this is unfortunate news because you know what I mean. When you think of like the old school Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters, like from at least from 3 on, you do kind of see Bam Margera in there. And one of the sad things too is that with them doing this, because I remember when they were announcing that there was going to be another Tony Hawk's Pro Skater being remade, a lot of people were speculating that they were going to be doing Underground, and a lot of people, myself included, were hoping they were going to do Tony Hawk's Underground. Now, who knows if that's going to happen? I feel like there is still potential for that, especially if this one does well. But one of the things about that that's going to be a little bit weird is the fact that if they do decide to do Tony Hawk's Underground, there's a slight possibility they might not do Underground 2 just because that game was heavily based off of like Bam Margera. Like a lot of them in that crew were kind of included in that. Now they can probably go about taking him out of that one as well if they wanted to, but I feel like the game wouldn't be the same without him, because I remember looking at Tony Hawk's Underground 2 and like just turning it around, and I think Bam Margera, like a video game design of him, is actually in there. So seeing that he wouldn't be in it, I feel like would just be a weird take in that regard. So I'm a little bit interested to how it's gonna go if this game does do well and they do decide to continue on with doing more remakes of the Tony Hawk franchise. So some unfortunate news. You know, it's kind of shitty that Bam's not gonna be in it, but you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's Tony Hawk's games. It's his decision on what he's gonna be doing with that. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. If you guys can let me know if you guys are bummed out that, you know, Bam Margera is not going to be in there, or is there some people out there that just really don't care? So yeah, if you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you guys can like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.